my live chat or whatever. If this crap's gonna continue with this shit, I'm gonna get annoyed. It's like you can't win with whatever it is you're doing, you just can't win. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right, I gotta go over here and do a fixed set of speed because this is gonna heat up my GPU. There we go. Yep. Now difficulty on this is pretty much on insane. And these guys are kind of like able to laser in on you. Especially at night. I believe they get zombie feral sense. What the role portrays to at night. This is vanilla, by the way. So in no way is this associated with any ridiculous function. 1 second. I hope I was recording whenever I found the suppressor to this thing. So that took a little while. Yeah, 7,647. Duke's Casino coins, or whatever you want to call them. Let's call them donks. We got 7,647 donks. Frying up some iron. Side of here. Got my drink going on. Need to put that away. Put this away, that away, that away. If you're wondering what happened in one of my recordings, which I say is a failed recording, actually tells you what happened. I lost all the materials that used to be in the box sitting on top of this. Right here, on top of my loot box. Just because during Horde Night, I got murdered during Horde Night. They destroyed the wall, managed to get in, even though I was firing arrows. Explosive tip, by the way. And yeah, they kind of just mobbed the place and started beating it up. Fortunately, it didn't come in from the side where this workbench is at because I didn't have the resources to replace that. Fortunately, it was only a minor amount of resources, but the total amount of resources, if you count it all up, actually adds up to around 4,000 dukes of material. 4 or 5,000, around that ratio. Do need to get more of the munchies in. At night, I believe they have double HP or something like that because of the difficulty. So it's going to make it a bit rough. Right now, this is pretty much what it looks like. In the beginning, which I believe I did record that part, a zombie dog pretty much destroyed the entirety of the front of this entire establishment. And all the blocks going from all the way over there to all the way over here, pretty much where you see the cobblestone at, and stuff, and then up to right here, all of that collapsed. Because the dog took out the support beams to the gas station right here. It took out the beam that was right there, and it took out the sign and everything with it. And the only thing that was left standing from that point was literally just this window right here, this wall. Part of this wall was pretty much gone. Where the cobblestone's at, it's kind of what was replaced. Up to right here. But everything up to there, past this pillar, up to this point had collapsed. Part of this wall was kind of cut in like that. Just was like that. Completely trashed. So it was pretty rough for a minute. I started creating another place that I want to dig up underground, so I'm creating I guess a personal mine. I've got almost every book with, you know, the art of mining. I got almost every book. Except for book number 5, which I'm aiming for. As soon as I have a full set of those, I'm going to take off into the night. I should probably take this extra ammo. Considering the amount of luck I've had recently, it's not been very good. 81 pieces of iron, which can be transformed into what I need it to be. Got 10 pieces of glue, which I'm going to take these 2 and I'm going to turn them into repair kits. In order for me to get back at least a third of the resources, I had to scrap a lot of broken cars. It's kind of how I made my ends meet over the last couple of days in this game. So, you gotta do what you gotta do, even if it sucks. Let's take a look and see if I have anything useful. Make another flashlight if I need to. See if I have the parts. Iron, collecting parts, duct tape, and scrap polymers. I guess I can make one. Oh wait, I already have one. Okay. What I need for the actual weapon flashlight mod. 5 electric, 2 glue, and scrap polymers. Alright. Scrap polymers, 2 glue, and some electric parts. Let's see what else I have in here. The bipod, 5 glue, springs, mechanical parts. So we're just gonna grab this. Grab the oil, but why not? Let's see what I can actually make. This is actually a holding one now. So this increases actually handling when aiming the weapons. Improves handling accuracy with firing weapons from the hip or while moving. We'll grab this one. Because it's going to be helpful, so we'll craft that one instead. I need more glue. I gotta wait 47 seconds for this. So far pretty happy. Oh, I had no idea I took some severe damage over here. I'm gonna take the herbal antibiotics with me. Considering my luck lately, it's been pretty garbo. And since the exploding arrows are cheaper to make, this will be my rocket launcher. Doesn't deal block damage, at least not as massive as a regular rocket launcher would be. Rifle, grenades, gun, medieval, ages 6 and up. An exploding grenade or exploding arrow is about as effective as the material it's actually mounted to it. So, if you want to like frag grenade damage, it would definitely take quite a bit of material. So, if you're wondering about how that works, it's a lot more confusing than you think it is. Like, if anybody has ever seen the Rambo movies, don't believe what you see. It takes an incredible amount of gunpowder to fire an arrow, that could detonate about as big as it did in the movie. So if you're wondering, the math and science behind that is pretty heavy. Which is the reason why I iterated that if you think you can do what they do in the movies, you should probably think twice. Because it takes an incredible amount of core strength to do a lot of things that celebrities do. Believe it or not, if you're a movie star or celebrity, part of your life is going to be exercise, fitness, and proper dieting, while the other side of your life is going to be more asphyxiated on a few things, or a few core things, which is maintaining your mental health, which is an extremely important thing to do when you're a movie star. If you don't maintain your mental health during the time you are doing acting of any kind or stunts, your mental health could diminish to the point where it causes you to be, well, insane. And if you don't believe me on that department, trust me. Even being a background character in a movie is very, very stressful. People have high standards for what they do, and so do the directors. Their standards are incredibly high, for even background characters get treated just like celebrities do. So let's say you're Brad Pitt. Well, even though you're on stage, the writer and the actor are going to clash. It's the same thing like with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who played the Terminator in the Terminator franchise. There were quips tossed about, conversations had that probably shouldn't have been had, but later ended with being had, and an understanding being made. Now, the writer is the one who makes the lines. I understand some of you who may be trying to catch the acting bug might not like what the writer puts down, but who's the one who's manufacturing and or pretty much putting it out there? Is it you or is it them? And the answer is, it's them. They're the ones who are putting out the material, because without that material, you'd practically have nothing. So, I understand how some people feel. The material seems really, really corny, or something like, it feels like it's something you wouldn't say, and that's the thing. Acting is not about what you would per se to say, or what you would think you would say. When it comes to acting in a professional environment, it's not about what you want. It's about what the writer and the director wants. You are secondary. You are not primary. Now, it's always good to act out a scene. If you don't feel like it works, then it's always good to act the scene out and act your heart out. Basically, make it convincing. So if you're a part of the acting scene, then you'd know that being convincing is another part, where it feels like you're not reading from a script, but it feels like you're actually putting it out there. Now, there's such thing as too much acting, where it doesn't seem genuine or natural. And those are things that you should also pay attention to, because that can also affect your ability to have certain things completed, done, or even remotely finished. When I iterate it, I am being literal when I state it. Sometimes some things can really mess up the acting bug, and sometimes some things can really jar you up. Now, for those of you who are wondering why I'm talking about it, is because that is a little bit of Wobbly's personal life. I used to be a background character, and I got to be a background character in certain shows, and in a movie, but I don't count that as an actual career. Acting is just for fun. there's really no point to making a career from acting. If you want to become an actress or an actor, then feel free. But remember, there are great sacrifices in that. It's not all fun and games, I'm gonna tell you that. It's not all fun and games. So remember, if you think it's easy, think again. It's not. There's something that I've always had to point out to people. Some people thought that acting was easy. How I got into the acting bug or whatever you call it, I went through a program. Now, if you don't know what it is, then you don't know what it is. But if you guys want to get into acting and want to have an opportunity with the acting career status and stuff like that, then go to a website called BA Background. That's BA Background. If you happen to strike the fancy of the director or something like that, you might have an abundant shot of becoming an actual actor, which would increase your chances of popularity amongst the regular people. Your popularity can garner you quite a few stats, quite a few acting career chances, which may land you in the professional big leagues. But once you get into the big leagues, watch your step. So if you're not paying attention, I'm going to tell you this. Once you get into the big leagues, watch your step. People are constantly trying to sabotage you, even mainstream actors. Now, I'm not going to talk crap or shit on Johnny Depp or John Travolta or any of these previous and past actors who have made themselves superstars. I think John Travolta's biggest movie, I guess, would be Pulp Fiction. But then there was also Face Off, which I think starred someone else. But it also had Nicolas Cage in it, so it was pretty freaky. But what I'm getting at is this. Movies and stuff like that are pretty hard working jobs. Acting just doesn't happen magically. It's instinctively. So if you are already a partially or already mostly dramatic existence for an individual person, then I guess that scene would probably be the area for you. Jesus Christ, that was terrible. I could have gone a whole lot better, but it didn't. It was like it tried to take a big old dino dump on me. This is getting a little choppy, but I think it's because of the amount of crap I have open. Give me a second. Gonna close that out. Close the hub. And no, hub meaning Logitech G Hub. So before you get your filthy ideas in and start turning into an immature crowd, no, I had the Logitech G Hub open. Ooh, I cannot make the AK-47. I should go back and make it. But yeah, other than that, just from personal experience, it's just what it is. I had the acting bug. I'm actually not bad at it, but I tend to keep my name out of the whole newspaper or digital newspaper or whatever the hell you want to call it. I try to keep my shit out of tabloids and social media, my personal acting skills and stuff like that. A couple of people I've worked for or worked with had recognized me from like commercial acting and stuff like that. And once that happens, I kind of just walk away from like the entirety of the job site. And if you're wondering why, it's because I don't have time for people to be asking me questions. It's not that I don't like you, it's just I really don't want the publicity or actual people asking me questions. For me, it gets a little weird. I'm not very comfortable with the idea anyways. So, it's sort of a thing for me. I'm just not comfortable with the idea of people asking questions or wanting to know how can they get into it. So, if you want to know how to get into acting, you know, try to get your voice out there, try to be heard, try to be seen. And believe me, when I say seen, I mean really seen. And stuff. You want all that, you want the fame, you want the fortune. There's quite a few stuff like that, like requesting programs and things like that. If you live in the state of Texas or whatever, BA background is probably going to be your go-to people. There's quite a few outlets out there. BA background isn't the only one. BA background can even get you into the background of movies and stuff like that. Like, if you were there, you could have been in the background of the Wonder Woman movie. You could have been in the background of the Avengers movies. You even could have been a background character in Transformer movies and stuff like that, because they were doing some work and they pay for your stay. They could send you out of the state, pay for your stay in another state, and you get a hotel, accommodations, stuff like that. And you know, they kind of corral you with other actors. But remember, not everybody that's there is actually there to be friendly and cool about it. There are people there who will, and I'm going to tell you this, even though you're a background character, becoming a background character in a movie is how you get spotted, is how you get scouted, it's how you get seen. But you need to also be on your A game, because there are people there that will try to screw you over so that they can get in the A listings while you stay in the B listings. If you stay a B rated, and I'm going to tell you this, if you stay as a B rated list actor or a background character, you'll never go any further than a background character. Becoming an A-list background character sometimes grants you a chance of having a shot at bigger movies and much larger parts in said bigger movies. Now, you also got to make sure that if you have anything like makeup and stuff like that, like if you got things like that, you want to make sure that you keep that to yourself. You know, don't let nobody know. Just personally stating that now, so that way you don't have to deal with it later. Because whenever it comes to the acting scene, there are people there that will try to screw you over or will try to get you fired or kicked off the set. I, for one, have experienced that. So, if you're wondering why I'm telling you that, is because of my own personal experience. People don't care if you need the money. There was an asshole there that I'm gonna tell you right now. Like, when I was doing the whole acting scene and everything, there was some guy there, real stuck-up bastard. He came up to me while I was just sitting there smiling and talking with people, you know, meeting new people, making friends. And this asshole said, "Don't even think about getting into the A-list leagues." Like, I didn't understand what he meant by that, because he says, "I'm gonna be number one." Talking about how I'm gonna be number two, you know, my whole fucking life, or some shit like that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I was not number two. But the guy was definitely a dick. He really wanted to be top notch. I didn't care about being top notch. I just wanted to have fun. That's what it's really about. It's about having fun. If you care too much about the opinions of others, you're never going to be a happy person. So I'll tell you that now. I share that fact with you about somebody being an asshole with me. Talking about how he's going to be A-list, I'm going to be shit-list my whole life, just because that's a real thing that happened. There was also somebody that I knew that was trying to get me to go do this thing with him, but after a while he just kept talking mad crazy shit about me and shit like that while on the set. You talk about how your friends and shit like that would do that to you too. And it's just something that I learned. I learned to keep my mouth closed and let somebody run their mouth all they want. But eventually it just got to the point where that dude got kicked the fuck off the set because he was talking all that shit about me. And here's something that you should know before you go doing something stupid. When it comes to the movies and shit like that, I would say this now. If you're going to be a part of anything associated with anything big, small, or whatever, bullying is exceptionally unacceptable on the set. So if you're going to bully people off the set, you need to be very well aware that your stay will become very short. So before you think about bullying the person that you have next to you and blatantly doing it the whole time, you should know that the directors will not put up with it. So, you know, when it comes to acting, it's supposed to be a safe space. Everyone is welcome. So before you start bullying somebody, you need to be very well aware of that. Everyone is welcome, regardless of race, gender, or identity. And if you think that somebody isn't welcome, then you are not welcome. If you think somebody isn't worthy, then you are not worthy. So keep that in mind. So keep that in mind. Some directors won't care, while others will, because they need the people to be in their A game. Because time is money. And I will tell you that. That's a phrase that is literally stated there. Time is money. And if somebody's messing with somebody's time, then you are messing with somebody's money. So keep that in mind. Before you bully somebody, remember the ideal function. Time is money. Because remember, you're getting paid for the time you're there. You're not getting paid for how many scenes you act. So if you're gonna waste their time and they're gonna cut your acting, they still will pay you, but they're going to cut your time and send you home. So again, remember these words. Time is money. Also remember these other few important words. Just because you're a protege or you believe you're a gifted individual doesn't mean that you can't be kicked off the damn fucking stage. Because believe me, you can get kicked off the stage and they can remove you from acting permanently. There we go, he's been sorted out. She's been sorted out too. Yeah, it's over there. That was close. Do. Remember Wobbly's words. Bullying is unacceptable in the acting area, as it is a safe space for people to freely express themselves and truly be seen. So if you're wondering whenever I was younger and stuff, and how I was able to afford certain things, well, now you know how I was able to afford it. I was an actor.
I used to disappear from home and go a lot over there to the BA background places.
After my friend thought he was getting really recognized and was being good looking and everything, and just kept talking trash about me, and he says, I don't even see you over there. I said, of course you won't, because I don't dress up like myself when I go there anymore. And I even told him, since the last time you were a dick to me, and everybody knew you were being a dick to me, it's the reason why people stopped talking to you. It isn't because I told them something, it's because they saw how you were with me. Like I said, now I just hang around a certain group of people, and yeah, everything goes pretty well. At least for me. I said, I don't know about you. And it was kind of weird because his mom would also join in on him, talking about how I'm a trash list actor, talk all this crap to me. And I told him, it's not my fault your son got himself kicked out of the movie set. The director saw him talking all that crazy shit to me and treated me like crap. What are you expecting? I even told him, you should really stop, dude, because this is a place where people are supposed to call a safe place. And if you take that away from people, then it's no longer a safe place. I just straight up said what it was. It's a safe place. You're supposed to be able to go there, be able to act. You're supposed to be able to, like, feel like nothing bad could happen to you there. And then when bad apples emerge, is when bad things happen. When bad things happen, it costs money. So, from a personal standing point, how I feel about the entirety of the situation, from that point to when I got to like how old I am now, I gotta say the acting bug was kind of worth it. Because it proved to be a very helpful resource in my life, which took away a lot of the hassle from my life. Because my life used to be filled with an incredible amount of hassle trying to get money, trying to constantly solve my everyday problems. And with time, it did solve my everyday problems. I have managed to get what I needed from this world out of it. I have, like, I'm not gonna lie, I have no objections to it. And if you're wondering why I state I have no objections to it, it's because I really don't. Out of all the places, I gotta say it was some of the happiest places that I've been. But it's just like certain people probably shouldn't have been there. You're wondering why I say that? It's simply because of how they acted, how they treated people, and what they were saying. You know, I was friends with this dummy, but he didn't know exactly what I was doing with my life. And the guy was always trying to call me stupid, retarded, everything. The guy bullied me to the point where he just got kicked out in general. I feel bad for him for that time he got kicked out. And they told him he would never act again, which actually did happen. I didn't see him anymore. So then he got in with another program. Like, I don't get it, dude. Like, I really don't get it. Like, how am I that much of a threat to you that you gotta treat me like shit at every turn? And that's what I don't understand. It's one of the many reasons why I dressed up entirely different. Can you imagine that? Like, I literally shaved my face. Like, I shaved it to where it had like no facial hair, and then people told me to just wait until the hair on my face grew back out, and then they waxed all the freaking facial hair off my face. That was like the worst thing I ever felt in my life. I literally had like the facial hair on my face completely waxed off, the mustache, all the hair straightening out my face and everything. These people, I'm gonna tell you this, the people that were helping me, they themselves were like misfits because the people around them were doing the whole bullying thing. And I'm not gonna lie, that entire situation was weird. But although I was one of the misfits in the world, I also had a place. And the way I see it is, these people that were helping me, and I dressed up differently, I did things differently, all of that, like, I owe the small time and a career option that I had with them. I owe it to them. Really. I genuinely owe it to them. Because if it wasn't for them, I'd probably still be running around in circles. Probably doing nothing with my life. That's like a literal fact. So, did I love them? Yes. Did they dress me up like an entirely different person in this world? Yes. Did they help me hide my identity while I was there? Yes. I was a completely different person when I went there. I really loved those people who helped me out. So, for about 2 years, I had uninterrupted background work. But I don't include that with any application because if you think about it, if you're an actor, it doesn't work out with an everyday job if you have to handle rough materials and stuff like that. That doesn't work out. Because no material or anything in customer service representative function actually requires you to do any acting. So, in perspective, for about 2 years of my existence, freshly out of high school, I do have a partial acting career. Eventually, people that I worked with who had been around me, they may not have become actors, at least 2 of them may not have become actors, but they became makeup artists. And because they achieved the status of becoming a makeup artist, they achieved some kind of recognition in the acting world. And nowadays, they do makeup on major big sets and stuff like that. And sometimes when I watch some of the movies and things, I see their last names and their acting name. So I see the name they chose for their acting name and their last names also included with their previous acting names. Although they were aiming to become actors and, you know, people of the big screen, as you would call it, it's just been like totally weird. Two of them became extraordinary makeup artists that were beyond the normal means of standard. They were beyond the word standard. So, them, I give them props for moving up in the world and actually doing what they wanted to do. Although being an actor may have been out of the question because of limitations or just the fact that something just didn't go out their way. But, however, they still achieved something in that role of area and still make money. So, from personal speakings and sayings, they've earned whatever fortune they've amounted. That's all I can say. I have zero objections to their life choices, their decisions, any of that. And I say good luck to you, and may your life always be profitable. So before you assume that Wobbly has no appreciation for the people who helped him, Wobbly does. The reason why I was the way I was, the reason why I am the way I am. All I gotta say is if you can't accept me for how I am, then don't accept me at all. Just what it is. If you think I wanted to be in bigger movies and get seen and be saw and everything, fame and fortune is nice, but it'll swell up a regular person's head beyond use. So before you say anything about how fame and fortune is probably the best thing that could happen to a person, that is both yes and no. Fame and fortune could probably be the best thing that could happen to a person, but it could really swell up your head and you'll run over the people you say you care about. Doesn't matter who you are, fame and fortune will swell your head. And you won't know when your head is swollen. Believe me, you won't know. Until somebody who you consider less and insignificant tells you to your face that you're being an asshole. You lose a makeup artist, you have lost probably the only friend you have remaining. So keep that in mind. If you're wondering if I've ever lost a makeup artist, the answer is no. I haven't. But I made sure to leave. That's why I always stated to myself, if I ever saw myself turning into an asshole, I'd leave. I'd catch myself before I'd become that prick. And I did. I caught myself before I destroyed friendships. Were they grateful that I stopped before things turned into a nightmare? Yeah, they were. I caught myself before I became an asshole. Was I still friends with them up to a certain point? Yeah, I was. But I stopped being friends with them because eventually I just couldn't handle the whole social media tabloids. Being called in and being told, hey, blah, 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 you're going to come into the set, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Like, it felt like I didn't really have the freedom to choose. It's not that I couldn't handle it. It's just that after a while, it just feels like you don't have any freedom at all. lost the feeling of having freedom when acting is when you have lost an important side of yourself. So keep that in mind too. It's got nothing to do with being scared of the big screen. When you feel like you've lost your ability to freely act is when it's not worth it. Now believe me when I'm going to tell you this right here, because it's important to know this. People will say, did you get cold feet? And they always make jokes about it. Truth is, it's not about cold feet. If a person sucks out pretty much every bit of fun or every piece of something that made it worth it to you to become an actor or actress, if somebody sucks out all the fun, it becomes ultimately pointless to pursue that goal. And I'll tell you that now. It really does become ultimately pointless to pursue a goal in life if all the fun and everything that was associated with it has no longer become fun and has more or less become a chore. So if something has become a chore rather than a delight, then you're no longer having fun. When you stop having fun when acting is when you stop enjoying your career path. Some people say it's like a force of notion, you can power through it, but believe me, all these A-list or S-rank or S-tier actors, however you want to rate these famous people in today's movies, all these actors you see here will even tell you, if you ever asked them, it's not a block, it's not a mental thing, it's not fear or cold feet of the, associated function like the big screen. It's got a lot to do with a lot of things that are associated with issues that, like problems that are on the set, or just in general. But a lot of this actually contributes to a lot of outstanding, out-of-the-ordinary factors that do play a large role as to why a person can't function. Some people can't function without certain particular criteria being met. Certain people can't function without certain people being removed from the set entirely. But after a while, eventually somebody's going to get tired of your needs, and they're going to tell you either work with them or you don't work on the set at all. And they'll find someone else to play your part. Personal experience, seeing somebody get ejected from the set actually looks kind of funny from a third person's perspective. But I guess for the person who's being tossed off the set, it's not as funny. I would say I feel bad for those who do get tossed off the set, but I kind of don't, because you must have done something to earn that. Now it's pretty early in the morning. I was playing War Thunder earlier, but I got a little depressed playing it. I should probably take off to the store or whatever. I'm gonna try to upload the video footage that's missing, for anybody who's wondering. That'll fill in the context of how I got here. Should probably make more rifle ammo. Yeah, there's a lot of context that's missing for those of you who actually want to see the context. You gotta tune in. Nah, I really must get going and stuff like that. I would have gone to go do that mission over there, but it's been like a little bit, and I've gone on a partial rant about my past. And back when I used to have the acting bug. I'm too old to do acting now. If you haven't made it into the big movies before you're 30 years old, and I'm not even 30 yet, I'm quite a bit away from it, but point is, if you want to get into acting, you can start at the age 16. So, BA background allows people to be background characters at the age of 16, and then you can take on more serious and larger scale roles before you're 16 as well. There's also a couple of acting programs outside of BA background as well. I stopped receiving notifications and stuff from them last year, but that's because I no longer wanted or had an interest in working with them anymore. There's like a bunch of programs out here that can help get you into A-list movies and stuff like that, that is like big. There was an opportunity I had with that weird movie called Cats or whatever, but I completely turned that crap down because I didn't feel like dressing up in a weird furry suit that somebody may have vomited in. So, yeah. I skipped out on a lot of opportunities because it just wasn't worth it. Okay. Well, I hope you guys have a great night or morning, afternoon, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and take care. See you guys again some other time. Bye-bye.